As we all know, December is VO2 max training month, or that's the monthly emphasis. I should have done this earlier. It's my fault. I was coaching, earlier this week, and I realized that there's a lot of confusion as to what that even means. I should have seen that come in. I should have put this video out sooner rather than later. But hopefully it's not too late. We're still early in December. And I think this will clarify kind of what we're doing, the purpose behind it, and the two main differences in terms of approach. Which again, if you were here this week at any of my classes, I tried diligently to try to go over this and explain the difference between the two. Now you guys can just freeze this video and read these. I'm going to read them out loud for anybody that like drives or is walking or whatever. So I'll try to rip through them pretty quickly. But the ceiling and the floor, those are the two main approaches to VO2 max training. Certainly the two main approaches we're taking this month in terms of programming and actually working out. And I'm hoping and I think already people are starting to kind of understand the difference between the two. I'm just not sure everybody understands the difference between what we're trying to achieve based off of one or the other. So ceiling work I'm going to start with. Like I said, you can just pause this video and read it if you want to. But ceiling work focuses on pushing your cardiovascular engine to its absolute limit. These intervals are done at or slightly above your max aerobic capacity, where your breathing is heavy and recovery takes effort. The goal is to raise the highest level of your heart and lungs can sustain so that your overall endurance potentially grows, or the potential of your overall endurance grows. This is the type of training that teaches your body to use oxygen faster and more efficiently under intense stress. So these are like the 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. This is, if you were there on Thursday, December 4th, we did 20 seconds on the bike, 40 seconds rest. This is ceiling work, and this is the stuff where we are going way over our capacity or our maintenance mode, I guess you could call it, kind of like the 70% is kind of like, where we like to hang out. We'll talk about that, the floor. We're pushing way past that and typically relying on larger doses of rest so we can repeat that type of effort multiple times, right? Depending on, what kind of condition you're in. Normally, I'm giving you guys kind of ranges. Like if you were here on that Thursday, I gave you 10 to 15 rounds based off of your capabilities. But this one is important in terms of not just understanding how much your body can handle, but like I just read and out loud, I tried to write this as clean as possible. It's really hard to write this in like 4 sentences. But you are starting to understand your max capability when you do ceiling work. And then once you kind of understand what's like the max threshold that your body can handle on whatever it is we're doing, I keep using the bike as an example, then you can start to understand, for the type of volume that your body can handle at that particular output. And the game of doing this type of working is fun. Like I enjoy this game. Like I enjoy doing 10, 15 rounds of this kind of stuff. Like that is fun for me. Now, if you're somebody that does not enjoy the game of figuring out how much you can handle and for how many rounds you can handle it, then the benefits is kind of what's going to motivate you. And the benefits of raising your ceiling is that it's going to raise everything else. It's going to make stress significantly less of a burden on you. And it's going to make your heart significantly stronger in the sense of stroke volume, which we're going to talk about at the bottom. But your heart and lung strength just skyrockets through the roof the more and more you start to kind of get a little bit more precise with the ceiling training. Now, it's not something you want to do every single day. It's highly demanding. It's incredibly fatiguing. But it is nice to know what it is you can and can't handle. And if you want to take it a next step further, you guys could always go and get like a VO2 max training, which you're going to hear from me and Carolina Longevity in the near future, and really find out what your true VO2 max is and hopefully see that improve over time. Now, to be clear, we do this type of stuff all the time in Core 4. Like I have always loved VO2 max training. I did it way back when I was like 22. I fell in love with it back then. I thoroughly enjoy the value of it. Plus the enjoyment of it is pretty much unbeatable. So we've done this type of stuff all the time, right? The 2-minute EMOMs or any level of EMOM for the most part. All these like kind of short bursty Metcons, like that is me trying to get you guys kind of into this environment and the kind of ceiling type of work environment. Now, the floor, which I'm going to read out loud. The floor work builds a foundation that supports your peak performance. These efforts are still challenging, but more controlled, sitting just below your red line. They increase your aerobic base, improve stroke volume, and make it easier to recover between hard sessions. This type of training lifts the entire bottom level of your conditioning so that your ceiling work becomes more effective over time. So when you guys have seen, anytime we've done some of this floor stuff or floor work, I'm trying to get you guys kind of honed in on like that 70% output. Again, nothing overly crippling, nothing that should absolutely redline you, nothing that should knock you down to your knees. And then try to get you to ping pong back and forth most of the time between like 70% output, 60% output. And you keep ping ponging back and forth. The more conditioned you become over time, not only the closer can you get to that 60% type of recovery range, but the more honed in and precise you get at your 70% with the better, more repetition, the more you start to understand what your 70% is on each piece of equipment, which again is important if you want to continue to progress. Now, I say this out loud a lot in class. If you're not somebody that's overly, concerned about progressing, then a lot of these numbers are pretty irrelevant. Like you don't need to know all this type of data. But I don't know why you would continue to work out and spend money if you don't want to get better. And if you guys can understand these numbers, the more precision you have, the more improvement you're going to see. But anyways, 70%, 60%, ping-ponging back and forth. We've already done that a couple of times at the time of making this video. You're going to see it a lot more as this month goes on. But the one thing I wanted to hit on here extra is improving your stroke volume. A lot of people immediately think stroke volume is just like the amount of your heart beats, the amount of beats per minute it is. And that's not necessarily true. Like improved stroke volume is your heart's efficiency. It's how strong is your heart, how much blood is it pumping with each beat. And the more efficient you become, the stronger your heart gets. Not only the more blood you're pumping, but with each stronger pump, you're moving more oxygen throughout your entire body. Your endurance continues to go up. Your resting heart rate continues to come down. Like these are all metrics and numbers that a lot of people hear about all the time, especially from like doctors and stuff. But nobody really knows what you need to do in order to improve them. This month is perfect for that. And like I said, like you're going to get more conditioned in this month, especially if you're somebody that comes 4, 5, 6 times a week, like no doubt. Now we're not going to stay this focused on VO2 max training like after December, but hopefully it enlightens you and opens your eyes to every time you do see these types of programming, because we always are doing it. We're dabbling them all the time. Like I said, from a personal standpoint, I don't like to go too long without working on this kind of stuff. So take this month, get a better understanding of your floor and your ceiling on each piece of equipment, a better understanding of your 60 and 70%, and a better understanding of what you can and can't do in terms of volume and a conditioning level, so that when this month is over and we do take the shine off of VO2 max and shift it elsewhere to a different modality, you guys can then apply this to future months. And like I said, any piece of equipment that we choose to do any day of the week for hopefully the foreseeable future. But I will say at the end of this, I do think a lot of people are enjoying this. People find this fun, and I'm hoping more people are liking kind of like the strategy involved in working out when you're really focused on specific numbers based off of what you think you can handle. Like although it is hard, like don't get me wrong, like VO2 max training is very challenging. If you can make a game out of it, it becomes a little bit more enjoyable, at least from my perspective.